What's going on, guys? Welcome back for another episode of Too Many Toys J. Today we are going to be doing some work on the budget build Nova. If you guys haven't seen the last video, make sure you go check it out. We took this 1975 Chevy Nova 350 4-speed car, took it out of a garage where it's been sitting since 1987, last ran in 1989. We got it running. It had a seized engine, so make sure to go check out that video. That's a pretty good one. But today we're going to be doing part 2 on this series. This is going to be a multi-series part for this car. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a couple little things here and there. I wrote up a list for everything that needs to be done on the car, or somewhat, to get it running and driving. Hopefully by the end of this video she'll be running on her own off the gas tank, and we will be able to at least move her forwards and backwards for now, because we still have no brakes. So on today's video we're going to be doing fuel lines, oil change, vacuum lines, etc. A bunch of little stuff. And then also I got a treat for you guys. We got some, to stay with the budget build theme, I found a couple tires for the car for the back. I'll show you guys in 1 second. This is what we got. We got some center lines with some slickies. Yeah, those are for the back of the Nova. The first thing I think we're going to be doing today is we're going to be tackling the fuel system. We're going to try and get it running off the gas tank. So off camera, I just emptied out the tank, made sure there was nothing in it. I stuck a camera down it. It was actually super clean. It looked brand spanking new. So the tank is clean, no crud, nothing came out of it. What I did was I took one of the rubber lines off from the tank that goes to a hard line. I took it off, and then like I showed you guys in the other video, I pressurized the system by putting an air gun in the tank and then pressurizing it, pushing fuel up through the sending unit and then out that tube, and then I just put it into a jerry can and then just let it all drain out till there's nothing coming out. So if you're going to do that, make sure you take it easy, because I did that before, and the reason we're doing the fuel lines is because I blew one in the back. So we ended up taking all those off, and I'll show you quickly. So these are the fuel lines that came off the car. It was actually rotted right here on both sides. So I just cut it there. We unbolted everything, and then halfway through the car to the front of the car, there is actually hard lines. So, or more hard lines anyways. It goes hard line, soft line, and then hard line again. So the hard lines from the halfway up to the car, or from halfway to the front of the car, are actually perfect. There's nothing wrong with them. They're still shiny. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run budget build. Like I said, guys, we're gonna try and do this cheaply. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna run rubber line from both those lines, the return line and the feed line, back to the tank back there, and that'll be a budget. So we got to do that. And I figured while we're doing that, we might as well put a few filters in there, so anything that there might be in the tank that I did miss doesn't come up in the carburetor. Also, we are going to change out the fuel lines that go from the fuel pump to the hard lines. There's a couple little rubber lines there, so we're going to do that. Then we're going to get into the oil change, etc. We'll see if she runs. So stay tuned, guys. Let's get into those lines and let's get going. Also, guys, just one more thing before we get going. I noticed that like 75% of you guys that watch aren't subscribed, so I just want to know what's going on. You get to see cool videos like this all the time. And also, guys, it would really mean the world to me if you guys could give this video a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. I'd really love that. And if you guys have any questions or comments, let me know. So I think the first thing that we're going to do today, we're going to do the fuel lines from the fuel pump to the hard line. So we'll take a look at that quickly. I'm not going to show you guys doing it, but these two lines here, basically you have your feed line, which is always be the bigger line, and then you have your return line, which is a smaller line, and they just run to a hard line right there. Now, you don't have to do these if there's nothing wrong with them, but these have been on the car for 30 years and they're really like plasticky from sitting for so long. So I'm going to do those first. We're going to move to the lines in the back like I was showing you guys, and we'll go from there. We got those lines off. We cut new ones up. So basically, guys, what I do is I just buy a box of 25-foot roll of 3/8 fuel line. It's pretty much cheap. It's like 30 bucks for a box, 25 feet. If you need to do a whole car, you can do a whole car, return usually, and feed line. So basically I just got that. We cut up some line. I did have an extra bit of line for the return line, which is a little bit smaller. So just basically match them up, cut them, and then throw them back on. So you can see here that the return line and the feed line are different sizes. The feed line's bigger, return line's smaller. Same thing on the fuel pump. So you can't mix them up. I'm gonna put those back on and we'll be back. All right, we got those fuel lines all in. That took way longer than it should have, but they're done. I'll show you guys quickly what I did. So we put the 2 lines in here, 1, 2, the return line and the feed line. And on the feed line from the tank that comes into the fuel pump, I put a filter here, just a disposable one. So if there is anything in the lines, that it'll just get caught here first. So these are always good to have. I bought I think like 15 of these on Amazon for, I think they're like $1 a piece. They're like 14 15 bucks. So those are always good to have, especially, I mean, for $1, just throw them in there. So that's all done. Now I think we're going to move to the back and we're going to lift the car up, take the wheel off, and then I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do with the lines back there. Let's get to it. Oh, actually, before I'll show you guys the list of stuff that we got to do for the car. Oil change, the transmission mount. I noticed it wasn't bolted in the car, so we got to do that. Everything's there, just needs to be bolted in. The rear fuel line to the tank, the fuel line pump, so we just did that, so we can cross that off. Fuel filter after the tank. The gas pedal is stuck, so we got to fix that. Something's going on with that. We got to test out the rear wheels that we got. We got to put brakes on it, wash it, body work, and rear windows, etc. That's just a short list, a basic list of what we got to do just to get it running and driving and movable. Let's get to those rear fuel lines now. Let's lift the car up and get the rear wheel off, and let's show you guys what we're doing back there. All right, so we have the car off the ground now. I just did it quickly, took the one wheel off. Sorry, it's 30 degrees, 30 plus out today, so it's freaking, it's warm out today, guys. But I'm going to show you guys what I did with the fuel lines, what I took off, what we're going to put back on, and then hopefully after we do this, that will be the end of the fuel system. We should be able to technically put gas in the tank and then probably just prime it so the fuel gets up to the fuel pump, and then it should hopefully it should run off itself. It should run off the tank. Let's show you guys what we got to do, and we'll take a quick look too. So as you guys can see, these quarters have been done. Patches inside and stuff have also been done. It has some aftermarket coilovers, I guess you would call this. A shock with a spring. I don't know. But I'm probably gonna end up taking those off and just putting regular shocks on it. It has a sway bar, which is really cool. And then it also has a 10-bolt posi. I'm not too sure of the gears. I'd have to take a look at it. As you can see, guys, the car is crusty. It's not, like, it's still solid, but it's really crusty. Anyways, so here we have our gas tank. And what we have is our 2 lines that go down into our gas tank. So just like the front, the smaller one is the return line, and the bigger one is the feed line. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna run these to here. So I took the lines off here, and these run all the way to the front of the car, and they're still in good shape, as you can see. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna run lines from here up and around, and then up through there. That is what we're gonna do today, or that's what we're gonna do right now. And then hopefully when we're done this, that should be the end. Let's just jump right into it. I'm gonna try and follow the lines where the old fuel lines were, and hopefully they'll go back up there. I know I need some clamps, so we'll see what we can do. And when we're done that, we'll be back. Well guys, we got all the fuel lines done. So now hopefully we should be able to just put some fuel in the tank and then turn the key, prime it, and hopefully we should be able to run it off the tank. We'll see, but I'll show you guys what I did quickly. Basically all I did was I ran, like I was telling you, 2 rubber lines. So they just go up here. And what I did was I utilized the factory holes where the factory fuel line bolted into, and I just bolted in a couple rubber clamps there, and then I ran it underneath here nicely along here to another clamp, and then I ran out of these. So what I did was I just ran it here I ran two separate clamps that I had. One actually bolt was for this piece of metal here, and the second one was for the second clamp. But it's all done. We got it bolted up into the hard line that goes to the front of the car. So I might just take some zip line or zip ties and just quickly just push this together here, and then the same thing here, just to tidy it up a little bit. But I think we're done with the fuel lines now, so now we should be able to fire up the car and have it run off the tank. So I think now what we're gonna do is let's throw those rear tires on and see what they look like. We got the ass side up off the ground, so let's put those big boy tires on and see if they fit. So guys, sticking with the budget build, the tires on the rear of the car are shot. They just keep going flat. So I figured I might as well take off the slicks that I had on the Dart, put on the big boy tires that I have. I have some 16.5 wide tires for it that always go on it. So I put those back on it. And then I figured, you know what, let's try putting the slickies on the Nova. So what we got here, guys, is a Mickey Thompson ET Drag slick. It is a 28 by 10.5, so 28 tall, 10.5 inch wide, and it has a centerline wheel, a real centerline wheel on it. I'm not sure what the back spacing is, but I noticed this car has coilovers or whatever you want to call it on them. So we're gonna have a little bit of clearance issue here with the tire, unfortunately. Just move this out of the way for now. Those V-brake cables. So I have to put a spacer on it for now until I can get a new shock, and then just take off this coil, or whatever you want to call it. So let's test fit them on and see what they look like. I'm excited. I think it's gonna look cool. What do you guys think? Write down in the comments below if you guys think they're gonna fit or not. Well guys, wait till you see this. This looks absolutely killer. The tires did fit. We had to do a couple modifications. My beard is a mess. I am soaked because it is warm out here, guys. I'm dirty. So you guys ready to see? We got the stock wheels here. We ended up having to take off the shock coil, whatever it is. We're gonna just put a normal shock on it. But anyways, here she is. Look at that. That looks killer with those on there. Look at there. Some big slickies in the back for that 10 bolt. She's gonna love those. I can't wait to get this thing out. So when I was taking the wheels off, I actually pulled one of the drums off, and it seems that everything is inside the drum. It's brand new. It has all the shoes, it has the pads, everything is all brand new. So that's awesome. I did not think they were going to be in the back there. I know the car came with a pile of brake parts, brand new brake parts, but I didn't think the back ones were going to be done. So basically the back just needs lines ran, and then it just needs bled, and then the back should be done, and then the front we're gonna have to do a whole bunch of work. But anyways, these tires look absolutely killer. I think what do you think we should put on the front? I don't know if we should put a matching set of Krager's on it, or centerline, sorry, or do you think we should go old school and put a set of Krager's on it? I think instead of 14-inch Krager's, maybe 15s. I think that would look absolutely killer. This thing is just starting to look so cool. So that is done. Fuel system is done. Tires are done. Brake system we're gonna wait for. So I think the next thing we're gonna do is do an oil change, and then we're gonna go around the engine bay and then just cap off all the vacuum lines that are open, because a lot of these vacuum lines for some reason haven't been put on, or they're open or whatever, which was causing the car to idle like crazy. So we're gonna do that next, oil change, do the vacuum lines, and then maybe we'll see if she starts up and idles. I know we got to play with the gas pedal still, so still lots of stuff to do, guys. So stay tuned and we're gonna get to it, and then we can see if the car moves. Actually, that's gonna be a big one. I'm excited about that. All right guys, we are back. It's another day. It got really hot that day, and then I ended up having to do some other stuff. So we are back today. It's a little bit chillier, so I got a sweater on. It's actually nice. I don't have to work in the 30 degree heat. So today, going along with the rest of the video, we're gonna finish off some stuff that we left out. I'm gonna do the oil change, which we're starting right now. I did a couple other things off camera. I bolted in the transmission cross motor, which is 2 bolts, or 2 bolts on either side. So Not something you guys need to see. Did a couple things. All the vacuum lines I did, just plugged off some vacuum lines. So I think we're gonna do the oil change, and then we're gonna put some fuel in the gas tank, and then see if we can get it to run off the tank today. And then let's see if we can move too. So let's get into that oil change. All right, we got the car up in the air. Remember always to give the car a shake after you put it up in jack stands, just to make sure it doesn't fall off. Let's take a look underneath and see what we got. This is the first time I've looked underneath this part of the car. So, at the first glance, it doesn't look too bad. Of course, everything's crusty, but the frame is there. The cross member is still there, which is good. I think it's been painted actually. As you can see, the motor and transmission almost look new. They've been painted and taken out, or taken out and painted, sorry. So I think he hit the front end off, and then he was starting from the front end and working his way back. Because if you look, all the inner fenders, you can't really see it, but all the inner fenders are painted. The rad sport's painted, the engine's painted, and nothing in the back is touched. So I think that's what his plan was. Anyways, guys, let's get to the oil change. We have an oil drain plug here, and it looks like it's been leaking, so oil filter there. Let's start draining some oil. I noticed the car was leaking a little bit of oil before from the drain plug, so I decided to go get the wrench, crack it, and show you guys what's going on. But before I touched it, I noticed this. Okay guys, ready? Look, I haven't touched anything, I swear. It was not even finger tight. So that's going to be one of the reasons it was leaking. So let's just I guess take this off. And I know the gentleman said there was new oil in here. I never ran it. We had it running there for a little bit, but it's still, yeah. So the oil is still pretty clean, as you guys can see. There is nothing on the end of the drain plug. Perfect, nice and thick oil too. That's what we want to see. So that's good. We'll just let this drain out, and then we'll get out that filter. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is this filter. I'm actually kind of excited to see what kind of filter this is. It's probably gonna be something old, as it's been in there for 30-something years. So obviously this is, oh, of course, finger tight as well. That is a Moto Master from Canadian Tire. Huh. That's a weird one. But the good thing about these Chevys is you can drain the oil filter and the drain plug at the same time in the same pan. A rat. And as you can see, guys, we got oil coming out of the filter, which means that we have oil pressure. So for you Canadian guys, there is a Moto Master. That's old. So we're gonna let this drain out, put our new oil filter back on it. We got some 2050 oil and a cheap filter going with the budget build theme, so we'll put that in it and we'll be done. Remember, guys, to always fill up your filters with a little bit of oil. Look at that precision. Oh, that's not how you want to do it, but it'll go in there, just so that when the motor starts, it's not a dry start. There's actual oil in the system. If you the motor without any oil in the filter, it has to prime the oil from the actual bottom of the pan, and it'll take a few seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, to bring the oil up through to the filter to fill the filter up itself, which means nothing is being pumped from the filter through the motor. So it's always good to fill up your oil filters full of engine oil. I mean, that's what I do. Everybody does it differently, but so we're gonna get this filter on now, and then put some oil in it, and we'll see what's next. We got everything done underneath the car. Oil filter's on. We got the drain plug in and tightened up. So make sure to tighten those up, guys. Don't just leave them loose like that. This is what we're using today. Like I said, we're just going cheap. So this is the budget build. Got this on sale. I think it was $22 Canadian, probably like 15 bucks American or something like that. 2050. I like going with the thicker stuff with these older cars. Just it helps out with the valve train and stuff like that. And then with just a cheapy PH 30 frame oil filter. I'm just putting this on for now. If I were to do something, or you know, eventually down the road, probably put a nicer filter on it. I'm not really too keen on the frames, but it was cheap and it'll do for now. It's just a stock motor, so I'm not too worried about it. That's what we're just using. So let's fill it up. Actually, guys, I'm pretty excited for this one. I'm excited to see if this one moves, etc. So basically, we're just gonna put some oil in it, and then I gotta run to the gas station, and then see or get some gas. Oh shit, spilling everywhere. And then we should be able to see this thing fires up and runs on its own, or runs off of the fuel tank anyways. So that's exciting. All right, guys, so we're just gonna fill this up and we'll be back. Okay, we're done filling up the oil. Make sure to always check the oil on the dipstick after you're done filling it, just to make sure it went down to the pan. There's no blockages, nothing like that. We also got a chrome dipstick for this. I don't know, you guys think we should put it in? We got chrome dipstick and chrome valve covers that came with the car. Maybe we'll put those on today as well. As you can see, nice and full, nice and clean, so perfect. So that's another thing we can cross off the list. Let's see what we got left on the list quickly. And then after this, I gotta run and grab some fuel, and then we can see if the thing will start and run off of the gas tank. So that'll be fun. I'm excited. Let's see what we got. So we just did the oil change. We can cross that off. This one was the transmission mount, bolt the transmission mount in, done. Rear fuel lines, done. Fuel lines from the pump to the hard lines, done. Fuel filter, we did that in the front. Plug all the vacuum lines, we did that. We got to do the gas pedal, and then we put the rear wheels on it. We still have to do the gas pedal, the brakes, wash it, body work for the windows so we can put the rear quarters in, and we got to put shocks on it, and then everything else that needs to be done. But I'll show you the vacuum lines quickly. So the vacuum caps that we put on it, we just went around. It seemed like there was a lot of vacuum lines missing or gone or somewhere, so we just went around, capped off a lot of the stuff. There's a bunch under there anyways, so we just went around, capped off all the stuff there. We noticed that was idling high, so capped it off. Hopefully that was the reason it had a high idle, and maybe today it'll idle back down. So I'm just gonna run and grab some fuel and we'll put it in. Maybe we'll take off the filter at the front, try and push the fuel through the lines, make sure everything works before we crank it, just so we don't burn out the starter, and we'll go from there. So guys, I just got back from the gas station. We'll put fuel in the tank. Now what I'm going to do for my rear steerings, anyways, you guys don't have to do this, is I'm going to take off a line that goes to the fuel pump. The feed line that goes to the fuel pump, I'm going to take off just before. So what I've done is I take it off at the filter here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pressurize the tank like I showed you guys in the Oldsmobile video. If you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. I'm going to pressurize the tank and then see if we can push a little bit of fuel through the feed line and out. So A, that will take out any crud that was in the old hard lines, and B, we will have fuel going to the fuel pump. So when it's time to actually pull from the tank, it's not going to be fully dry, and it won't take as long, and then we won't be burning out our starter. So that's two things. So that's what I'm going to do, and then we can put a battery in it and see if she starts, and hopefully it'll run. So I'm going to put you guys down, and then you guys can tell me if we're getting fuel out of filter or not. There we go, guys. I seen it. All right, So look how disgusting that is. So that's exactly why we did. Perfect. So we're not going to run that very long. So we'll probably run that, who knows, 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll change it out and put another one on there. Just so we're not getting all the crud in there, because that was nasty. Or you know what, maybe we'll just keep pushing it through and then we'll just change it out now. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So we'll just keep using the pressure of the hose there to push everything out, and then we'll just change it out just in case so nothing goes through the motor. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, so we got her coming out now. So it looks like we just need to pressurize that system enough. So perfect, that's good. Looks like there's no cruddy stuff. The gas is a little bit yellow, but I gotta stop it before it fills that bottle up. So alright guys, so I just pulled off the filter after we pushed all that fuel through it, and I'm glad that we put this one on. But this is all the stuff that came out of that line. It is cruddy, and that's why we use these disposable filters, because they're cheap. And now I can just throw it away and put a new one on instead of buying an expensive one, having cleaned it and blah 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 blah. So cheap, good to use. We'll throw this out, put a new one on, put a battery in, and let's see if she starts. Okay, so I got the battery in it. We have the new fuel filter on there. It's all hooked up. So now the only thing to do is, I think we're gonna put some fuel into the bowls, fill them up, because it's been a little while, so I'm not too sure if they're full or they're empty, what's going on there. So we'll put some fuel in the bowls. Should be plenty. And then what we'll also do is we'll open it up and we'll just pour some fuel down into the motor, just so she wants to fire off. So the reason we're filling the bowls up is just to give it enough time to pull the fuel from the fuel pump or from the tank, because we did prime it, but after putting a fuel filter on, it probably ran back. So we got to do that. That's why I fill it, see if it starts, and then we'll see if that that bowl primes or not, or the fuel filter primes. All right guys, so let's do it. We'll give her a few pumps and let's see what happens. She was. Oh, I see what happened. This freaking battery terminal came off. All right, let's start it again. But I'll show you guys quick. She is running off the tank now. As you can see, that fuel line, or that pump, or that filter is full of fuel and it's clean. We have no fuel leaks. So yes, that's a success, guys. That is a success. So let's try and start her up again and see what happens. I don't think we have an alternator, but alright guys, so this thing keeps popping off. So obviously our alternator is not working, but that's awesome. We have to figure out the choke still. Obviously there's something going on with that, so we have to do that. I have to figure out how to keep this darn battery cable on, and then let's see if she moves forwards and backwards. Yeah, that's awesome though. Now she's running, so she's literally turn key. Jump in, turn the key, and she's running. Yes. So I'm gonna do a couple things and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so what I did was just temporary, so don't get at me for this one. I'm gonna be putting a new carb on it anyways. I took the vacuum line off that goes to the choke, so now it's vacuum actuated, so a vacuum pulls it and then pushes this rod in, and then which in returns opens the choke. So we need it closed for now, so I took that off, and then I just obviously just tightened the battery cable down. I got to get a new one because this is too short. This is just what I had because I just want to get it running for now, to just to make sure it runs. So we need to do that. So let's start her back up and let's see if it makes any difference. Everything's burning off the headers. That's all that junk that came out from when we got it to spit all that stuff out from the cylinders. But she's idling, she's running, sounds good. Sounds like the choke is trying to figure itself out. This thing is sweet though. All right, guys, I think what we're gonna do is just we're gonna see if it'll move. I know I gotta play with the gas pedal, but let's see if it'll move forwards and backwards just a little bit. All right, guys, so I haven't touched this thing with the clutch wise. I don't even know if it works. So now we're gonna see if it moves forwards and backwards just a tiny wee bit, and cross fingers. The car just died, so I don't even know if it's gonna start back up, but let's see what happens, guys. Yes, she moves forwards and backwards. That was first gear, reverse, and second gear. But all right, that's so exciting. As you guys can see, we're having some sort of problem with it idling up and down, so we got to figure out what the problem is with that. It probably needs a carb rebuild. It's been sitting on there for 30-something years. The throttle is stuck, so every time I want to touch it, it just kind of stays there on the gas pedal anyways, so we got to take the gas pedal off and see what's going on with that. All right, guys, so I ended up fooling around with the carb a little bit more, looking at some vacuum lines, etc., figuring out why I was idling so high. So what it was is this has a part of a choke that's in the actual intake, and one of the vacuum lines was off, so I put it back on, cleaned up a couple things. So this line here, so now as you can hear, she's idling mint. Listen to that bad boy. So that's awesome. That is much better. She's idling exactly where she wants to be. She was up a little bit higher before, but now she's back down because it's warmed up. So factory tack does work. We are sitting about 1,000 RPM. We're about 30 pounds of oil pressure. The car is warm now. It's been running for probably 5 minutes or so. So That's awesome, guys. We figured that out. I figured it was going to be something like that, just little, but anyways, guys, I think that's going to be the end of this video. We got this thing running. It moves for now. I actually took the carburetor off the Capri to get rebuilt, so that's not movable right this second. So when that is, we're going to try and take this thing for a drive, or take it around the parking lot anyways. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to do more videos on the project Budget Build Nova. This thing is really coming along. I'm surprised and happy with what's going on with it so far. I hope you guys like the wheels on the back. I think they look absolutely killer. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, make sure to leave a comment down in the section below. If you aren't subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you see more cool videos on the Nova and other stuff coming up. We will be doing another video coming up on the 1970 Plymouth Cuda very soon, so keep an eye out for that one. So thanks, guys. Hope you all have a great day, and keep an eye out for another episode of Too Many Toys Jake. See you later.